Deep in the heart of a dense, foreboding forest stood an ancient temple, its stone walls weathered by time and shadow. A group of adventurers, bound together by a common purpose, approached the temple's steps with trepidation. They were a diverse bunch, each with their own unique abilities and backgrounds. Among them was Scarelius, a mischievous satyr with a gift for negotiation, and Jack, a wise and resilient turtle. As they reached the top of the temple steps, they were met by a figure that sent shivers down their spines. It was a vampire, his pale skin glistening in the moonlight. The vampire's eyes glowed with a mix of hunger and curiosity as he surveyed the adventurers before him. The party, recognizing the vampire as a potential ally, took a step forward. Scarelius, known for his silver tongue, volunteered to speak on behalf of the group. With confidence, he presented the vampire with an intriguing offer. He would hand over Jack, the turtle, in exchange for the fallen sky ore. The vampire's eyes gleamed with amusement as he considered the proposition. He had grown tired of his dark, solitary existence and yearned for companionship. Scarelius had piqued his interest, and the turtle's fate hung in the balance. The vampire extended his slender hand toward Jack, casting a spell that ensnared her mind. Under his charm, Jack felt a strange compulsion to obey the vampire's every command. A gleaming goblet materialized in the vampire's hand, filled with his own potent blood, a twisted gift to bestow upon Jack. In a moment of fateful decision, Jack reached out and accepted the goblet. She raised it to her lips, hesitating for a brief moment before drinking the dark crimson liquid within. As the blood coursed through her veins, a transformation began to take hold. Jack, once a turtle, became something entirely different, a damper, a creature born of both mortal and undead blood. However, this transformation was currently unknown to her. The vampire, now intrigued by the new addition to his party, extended an invitation for the adventurers to enter his abode. Curiosity got the better of them, and they accepted, cautiously stepping into the shadowy halls of the temple. Inside, the vampire lavished the party with a feast fit for kings and queens, offering a variety of succulent meats. The aroma of cooked flesh filled the air, enticing even the most reluctant of carnivores. Jack, despite her previous vegetarian inclinations, found herself unable to resist the temptation and partook heartily in the feast, although only of the raw meat. As they ate and drank, the vampire regaled them with stories of his immortal existence and the secrets of the stolen stone. His charm and charisma were undeniable, and the adventurers found themselves drawn deeper into his web of fascination. The night wore on, and the adventurers remained captivated by the vampire's tales. But as the moon reached its zenith, they began to tire, realizing the journey ahead of them. They went to sleep and woke early, eager to continue on. When his host fell asleep, Ren decided to sneak off and explore the library despite the warnings. Navigating with stealth and caution, Ren delved deeper into the library. Shadows danced as he snuck through the gloomy chambers, his heart pounding in his chest. His nimble fingers brushed against the spines of ancient tomes, their pages tainted by time and malevolence. He snuck past several guards and necromancers up to foul deeds. Finally, Ren descended into the library's basement, where a forbidden treasure awaited. The room was filled with a dim, otherworldly light, emanating from an ornate pedestal at its center. And resting atop that pedestal was a dragon lance, a legendary weapon said to possess the power to slay dragons. Ren's eyes widened with both awe and apprehension. He knew the value and danger that lay within that weapon. In an act of daring, he gently lifted the dragon lance, wrapping it in cloth before carefully slipping it into his enchanted bag of holding. Knowing he had little time to spare, Ren made his way back to the surface, his heart racing with the weight of his stolen prize. He returned to the giant, a steadfast ally who awaited their next move. It was here that Ren's plans aligned with destiny, for it was Raistlin, the enigmatic mage, who arrived, his gaunt figure swathed in robes of dark purple. As Ren shared his discovery of the library's plight, Raistlin's eyes gleamed with both curiosity and purpose. He listened intently as Ren described the undead and necromancers that infested the library, envisioning a greater threat looming in the shadows. Without hesitation, Raistlin declared his intent to teleport Ren to the city of Everlund, where their knowledge and allies might be of aid in this dire situation. Together, they prepared the necessary components and chanted the incantations that would transport them across vast distances. With a sudden flash of blinding light, Ren found himself standing within the Guildhall at the heart of Everlund. But the scene before him shattered any hope of sanctuary. Bodies lay strewn across the streets, the once beautiful city now a war-ravaged nightmare. Smoke billowed from crumbling buildings, and the scent of death hung heavy in the air. Inside the Guildhall, Ren discovered a scene of devastation. Books and artifacts had been desecrated and scattered, their knowledge lost to the winds of destruction. The once united guild members now lay slain or missing, victims of the ruthless Red Wizards. He decided to journey outside to see what had befallen the town. Ren's heart sank as he maneuvered through the chaos, concealing himself from the clutches of the Red Wizards who had laid waste to the city. From a high vantage point, Ren surveyed the landscape below, his breath catching at the sight of a massive battlefield. A river of blood flowed, its crimson tide staining the once lush grasslands. Red-robed wizards cleaned up the remains of the defenders, the walls and fields shattered where their spells had rent the earth and the sky. Deep beneath the earth's surface, the rest of the party ventured into the dark and treacherous tunnels beneath the Underdark. Their path was filled with uncertainty, and the air hung heavy with a sense of impending danger. Led by their fearless paladin, Argrax, they pressed forward, determined to overcome any challenges that lay ahead. As they delved deeper into the labyrinthine tunnels, their footsteps echoed off the cold stone walls. Suddenly, they found themselves face to face with a group of drow, their eyes gleaming with malice. Swords were drawn, and battle cries filled the air as the clash erupted. Argrax, with his mighty sword, stood at the forefront, his shield raised high. He fought valiantly, striking down his enemies with righteous fury. But amidst the chaos darkness was cast. When it cleared it was like a brilliant flash of light erupted, almost blinding the combatants for a moment. When the haze cleared, the party gasped in horror. Argrax, once a stalwart defender, now stood frozen in place, turned to stone by the wicked magic that had befallen him. Darius, Argrax's lover, knelt down beside the petrified paladin, his heart heavy with grief. Tears welled up in his eyes as he cradled Argrax's stony hand, whispering words of love and sorrow. Darius swore to find a way to break the curse that held his beloved captive, vowing to stop at nothing until Argrax stood beside him once more. Meanwhile, the turtle named Jack, known for his peculiar tastes and eccentric behaviors, saw an opportunity amidst the grim scene. With a disturbing grin, he approached the fallen drow enemy, slain in the midst of battle. Hunger gnawed at his reptilian stomach, and without a second thought, he began to devour the flesh. The rest of the party looked on with a mix of shock and disgust, unable to fathom Jack's gruesome act in the midst of their grief. They tried to comprehend how such a peculiar creature could carry on so nonchalantly amidst the chaos. But they knew that in the world of adventurers, each individual had their own peculiarities, and Jack's insatiable appetite was simply another facet of his bizarre nature. Darius and the rest of the party decided to press forward, determined to honor Argrax's sacrifice and find a way to undo the curse that had befallen him. They rested a while and to their disbelief the petrification came undone. Was it a miracle or perhaps an act of true love? The party then stumbled upon a peculiar group of mushroom people. These diminutive creatures, known as myconids, exuded an aura of serenity as they greeted the weary adventurers with open arms. The myconids, recognizing the party's plight, offered to guide them through the treacherous Underdark to a legendary bridge that would lead them to the Red Wizard's goal. Accepting the myconids' kind offer, the party followed their fungal guides through winding tunnels and phosphorescent caves, each step taking them further away from the oppressive darkness and deeper into the strange, vibrant realm of the Mushroom People. Eventually, they arrived at the Bridge of Skulls, a foreboding structure constructed entirely from the bones of unfortunate souls who had met their demise in the Underdark. As the party approached the bridge, an imposing guard stationed there barred their way. The guard, a fierce woman wizard with a menacing scowl, demanded to know their purpose and intentions. Sensing danger, Rango, the quick-witted lizard, whispered to his companions, "Let me handle this." Stepping forward, Rango engaged the guard in a tense conversation, attempting to persuade him that they were harmless travelers seeking only to pass through. The guard remained skeptical, eyeing the party with suspicion and asked who had told them to come this way. Thinking quickly, Jack read their surface thoughts, revealing a name. Rango told the guard the name and they were let through without conflict. Inside was a temple and a teleportation circle. Throwing caution to the wind, Darius stormed through and discovered the same room Ren was in earlier, covered in blood. The rest of the party followed and gathered close to talk. Outside, guarding the room, were two guards. They rushed out and asked to talk to their master and were told to come back. They rushed and attacked these guards and a fight ensued. Ren, hearing the commotion, returned and yelled to not kill one of the guards. Darius, with his mighty hammer, complied and only knocked one unconscious. Ren approached and flicked his magical dagger into the guard's throat, killing him and assuming his shape. Ren, disguised as a guard, successfully lured away a significant number of their foes. The rest of the party seized the opportunity and engaged the remaining guards in a fierce battle. As the clash of steel resounded through the temple, the party fought valiantly, each using their unique abilities to overcome their adversaries. Meanwhile, their enemy, a nefarious necromancer, summoned dark magic in a desperate attempt to turn the tides. With her dying breath, she unleashed a wave of necrotic energy, which threatened to consume everything around her. The heroes, battered but determined, managed to withstand the necromancer's final onslaught and emerged victorious. As the last enemy fell, they cautiously approached the enigmatic orb of silver, its surface roiling with an eerie energy. It pulsated with an otherworldly power, and they knew it held immense danger. To their surprise, lying near the orb was a dying man named Theo, dressed in the garb of a scientist. With his last breath, he mustered enough strength to warn the adventurers about the orb's perils. "Beware," he gasped, his voice strained. "That orb, it seeks to devour all it touches. It is a conduit of unspeakable evil." Though their curiosity was piqued, the party knew better than to dismiss the scientist's warning. Darius, feeling the weight of responsibility, approached the orb with caution. He extended his warhammer toward the silver mass, ready to strike it, but at the last moment, he hesitated. Instinct told him to pull away, and he narrowly avoided the orb's insidious grasp, although a neat channel was burned into his hammer. With the immediate danger averted, the party turned their attention to the surrounding chambers. They discovered rooms filled with coin and notes about the orb. Darius eagerly perused the tomes, hoping to uncover hidden knowledge and secrets. While Argrax scoured the area for any signs of danger or additional information, the rest of the party gathered the coin. Realizing the significance of their findings, Darius carefully collected the artifacts and scrolls, preparing to delve deeper into the mysteries that awaited them and to keep it hidden from others in the party. They knew that the power held within the Temple of Flesh and the Orb of Silver was both dangerous and alluring, but they also understood the importance of uncovering the truth. The sun began to set on the blood-soaked battlefield as the brave adventurers cautiously descended upon the desolate landscape. The stench of death lingered in the air, mingling with the acrid scent of arcane magic. Their eyes scanned the scene, taking in the scattered bones and torn banners that marked the recent battle. At the center of the field, amidst the remains of fallen soldiers, stood the dreaded necromancer, Seraphina Darkthorn, her black robes billowing in the wind. She sneered at the approaching party, her skeletal guards encircling her like loyal sentinels. The party knew that if they didn't stop her, she would unleash even greater horrors upon the world. With a resolute cry, the adventurers charged forward, weapons at the ready. The clashing of steel against bone echoed through the night as the skeletons launched themselves at their assailants. The necromancer's voice reverberated with an eerie chant, her incantations growing louder and more frenzied with each passing moment. As the party fought valiantly against the skeletal hordes, a chill wind swept across the battlefield. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and their hearts sank as they realized the necromancer's chanting was summoning something far more sinister. The earth cracked open, and from the depths arose a monstrous undead dragon. Its skeletal wings spread wide, casting a shadow over the battlefield. Its eyes glowed with an unholy light as it let out a bone-chilling roar, its hunger for destruction and chaos evident in every breath. The necromancer's eyes widened with a mix of triumph and fear as she saw her abomination take form. Suddenly, with a swift motion, the undead dragon lunged toward Seraphina Darkthorn, its maw wide open. The necromancer's shrieks of terror were cut short as the monstrous creature devoured her in a single bite. Her foul magic, the source of her power, flowed into the dragon, fueling its wrath. Realizing that the fate of the world now hung in the balance, the adventurers rallied their strength, drawing upon their skills and determination. Arrows flew, spells crackled through the air, and swords clashed against the dragon's unyielding bones. The battle was fierce and relentless, each swing of a blade and each magical incantation bringing them closer to victory or defeat. Ren saw an opening amidst the chaos. With a flash of silver, he lunged forward, his magical dagger gleaming with an otherworldly light. The blade found its mark, piercing through the dragon's eye socket, causing a burst of dark energy to erupt from the wound. The dragon let out a deafening screech, its skeletal form crumbling into a pile of lifeless bones. The ground shook once more as the remnants of the necromancer's dark spell dissipated into the night. Silence settled upon the battlefield as the adventurers caught their breath, their weary bodies covered in sweat and dirt. Their victory was hard-fought, but the party knew their journey was far from over. They had vanquished the necromancer and her undead dragon, but the world still teemed with countless threats. As they gathered their strength and tended to their wounds, they looked to the horizon, ready to face the next chapter of their adventure.